Today's card is going to be a birthday card featuring the Galaxy technique. I've done a couple so far this week, and this one is going to be a birthday card from my special cousin Kyler, who's turning 5. This design also uses some stickers, which I've added a little googly eyes to give it a little bit of cuteness. I don't know if you can see that. The Galaxy design is a design that looks very difficult to create, but it really is really simple. And I know I say that in a lot of my videos, how simple something is, but when you watch and see for yourself, I hope you will feel confident enough to try it yourself. This will use not that many supplies. As I mentioned, this is a sticker, and if you didn't have a sticker, if you had a similar stamp, you could use that too. Let me go clear these things away and show you the materials that I used to create this card. Alright, let's go over the papers first. The papers that I'm using today is going to be a card base cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I need a black mat cut 5 1/4 by 4. I need a white panel, which is cut 5 by 3 3/4. I'll need a white square. This is a little bit more than a square, of course. It needs to be about 1.5 inches. I need a white strip, 1 inch by about 5. This is more than you need. And I also need a blue strip, which is 1.5 by 5. And I also need some gold glitter paper. And you can see from this little cutout, I'm going to need about this much, but I didn't want to cut that yet. Let me set this further aside because I don't want to accidentally mess it up, because I'm bringing in the inks now. The inks I'm using is going to be Distress Oxide ink, but the Galaxy technique will work just as fine with the regular Distress inks and also with any inks that you have, perhaps Hero Arts or Stampin' Up! Or Paper Tray or whatever you're using. You just need to have a blending tool that's going to work with the ink that you're using. If you're using a pigment ink instead of a dye ink, it will work also, but you just need to allow more time for the ink to dry. The colors that I've chose today is Fossilized Amber, Spiced Marmalade, Cracked Pistachio, Black Soot, Faded Jeans, Twisted Citron, and Picked Raspberry. You don't need as many colors as I have chosen for a Galaxy technique, but I thought that the colorfulness was very good for Kyler. So you could have done it with just these three, the blue and the black. You could have eliminated these two. The blue and the black is actually the most important ones. This is just going to be highlight colors. Okay, I'm also using Hero Arts Unicorn White, and of course Versafine Onyx Black pigment ink. Make a little bit of room. I need a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. This is the EK Success, but any circle punch will do. I'm also using the Stampin' Up! Triple Banner Punch, and this punch allows you to punch banners. You can do 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inch. And I understand you can also get a 3/4 inch punch out. If you look closely, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little indentation here where if you center the paper in between those two indentations, you can get a 3/4 inch punch. Of course, you could try smaller by just making sure that you had it centered, but the guides are really helpful to keep the paper centered and not moving all over the place. I'm also going to be using Wink of Stella glitter brush, and I'm using the gold. The stamp sets I'm using today is the Jillibean Soup Rockstar Superstar stamp set. This is a clear stamp, and I'm also going to be using the Lawn Fawn Out of This World stamp set with dies. I also need these little crazy googly eyes. I have a lot of those, and some rhinestones. And the star of my design are these stickers that I got from the dollar store. These are really crazy, and they were just so adorable, and they just screamed, take me home, when I saw them. Some of them have googly eyes already, but some don't. So That's why I brought the googly eyes. This one that I chose did not have the actual eyes, but they just had the picture. I'm also going to be using a water bottle for the technique. Alright, I think I've covered everything. I'm trying to glance at my desk real quick. Alright, let me clear these things away and I'll start into the first step, which is preparing the background. Alright, to get started, I have brought in my book, which has my blender tools in it. There's a video on my channel showing how I set this book up. This is a really great idea that I stumbled upon, and I really recommend it. I have all the blender tools ready to go. I have a lot of blender tools, as you see. You can get by with just one, but it's easier to have more than one so you don't have to keep changing the color, even though that's a very simple thing to do. I have arranged the stamps, the colors, the way I'm going to use them, but it's not really important. It just helps me. The important part about making stamp projects is if you're organized, it goes a lot easier than if you're disorganized, which I am guilty of quite frequently. I've also put on some gloves because the Distress Oxide ink is a little messy to me, and I don't like getting my hands messy and then accidentally touching the work that I'm working on and getting little things where I don't want them to be. Okay, getting right into it. So the different blending pads, I have set aside a different spot for it, and I just pop it out of the book when I need it, as you saw me do just now. So I'll just set this up real quick, and the only reason I'm showing you is because I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about it again, because this has really been a huge help for me, and I know that you would find it to be helpful if you tried it yourself. So I also now need the faded jeans, and I'm one short for the blending tools, so I'll just set the black there and be ready to go. So you saw how easy that was and how organized. It really helps. So now to the galaxy technique. I need a piece of paper to protect my work surface, and I pushed the papers out of my reach, forgive me there. So now see what I mean? I've already touched it and made a little bit of smushy mark on here, even with the gloves. See, here we go. But this okay because it's going to be covered. But let me get that off my finger real quick. Yep, that's why I use the gloves. Everything has a reason. Okay, so for the galaxy technique, you just go through and you put little highlights of color here and there all over the paper. Doesn't matter how you do it. There's no rhyme or reason. Just do what looks pleasant to you. So I'll speed this part up. Okay, now that that part is done, you're going to take the faded jeans and you're going to blend through all the colors where they touch each other. There again, there's no right way or wrong way, just do what looks good for you, but just be sure not to obliterate all the little color points that you put on there, because you won't be able to see them, and that was the point of putting there. So I'm just generally going through. It doesn't really matter how I do this as long as I don't have any white spaces, because you want to avoid that, and you want to just blend through the connections between the color so it's a nice smooth transition. And I think that's good. Now I'm going to need the black, so I'll take that off and put the black one on. And I'll just go over the whole thing with black. It looks scary at this point, but it's fine. But again, you do not want to obliterate all your little highlight points that you put here. You want them to peek through. And I'm not concerned about the blending marks because that will add interest to the final product. Okay, that's good. Now comes the magic. I just need to grab a paper towel, which I have here, and the water bottle. And you just spray lightly over the top. Wait for a couple of seconds. And just blot off the water that you just put on there. And there you see it. It gives the impression of stars all over, and all it took was a little bit of water. Okay. One thing, you will not get as pronounced an effect if you do not use the Distress inks. They react to the water. You may get a similar effect with if you use a non-distress ink as I have here, but it will not be the same. So just remember, if you want to have this precise look, you're going to need to use a Distress inks. Okay, now we're going to add some stars by taking the white, put a little bit on a clear block, don't need too much. A little bit more than that, I think. And set that aside and squirt a little bit of water. Take a clean paintbrush and just flick it right onto your panel. If you think you need more, you can directly touch it. There we go. I think that's enough. Alright, one thing that I didn't mention is I have this mini mister which has a little bit of perfect pearls mixed in water. So just give that a shake to make sure it's really in there good. It is. And I'll just squirt right over the top, and this will add a little bit of sheen to the final product. I'm bringing in my heat tool and dry this. You could let it air dry, of course, but this is a little faster. And there we have it, the galaxy background, all complete, ready to go. Let me clear this stuff away and move to the next step. Before I go to the next stage, I wanted to show you that it is possible to do a galaxy background with regular inks. I went and got similar inks to what I have here, and this is the background that I was able to make with these inks only. These are non-distress inks. They don't have the reactive to water property that the distress inks, so I wasn't able to do the squirt the water and get these splotches effect, but it still came out very, very nice. And I almost would want to say that I like the coloring that I got with this one better. So for the next time I do it, I think I'm going to bring in a darker blue and do a little bit more like this. I really like how it looked. So you can leave in the comment section below which one you prefer. Do you prefer this look or this look? I'll be interested to know. Okay, let me move on to furthering the card design. Now for the other elements of the die set, I need to get this die cut out here, out of this piece of paper, so that I can get the rings for the sun. I already have one of those ready, so I'll bring that in and a piece of paper, and I want to change the color of it. So I have the Spice Marmalade, this blender tool, and I'll just go right over the top. Sorry for shaking the camera. And change the white to orange. Okay, I think that's enough. Alright, set that aside for now and move on to the stamping. The card base, I have already put the stamps that I need on my MISTI tool in place, and I'll just take the card base and put it in. I want it to be a little bit darker. I need to re-ink this pad. All right. Okay, and now I'm going to do the banner also. There's that magnet. So I have the stamp for the banner already on the MISTI, ready to go. I'm going to do a little bit of watercoloring for the inside of the card. So I'm going to show how to do it, just one item, and then I will go through and fast forward because it's the same technique. There are several videos on my channel which shows watercoloring techniques. Please check them out to find out more detail about how to do this. It's really very easy and relaxing. But the main thing is to go all over with your lightest color, and in this case I'm using just one black and a little gray because I want it to have good coloring all around, but I also want to have shading. So now I take the black and start from the left side and go a little heavier and along the edges. And this adds the shadow. Start off with less than you think you need because you can't take it off once you put it on, but you can always add more. And now that the color is laid in, as soon as I find my water pen, which has gotten away from me, here it is, and a piece of paper. And you just make sure it's running smoothly. You just go all over it, starting from the left, and blend the color out as you want it to be. And the shadow happens naturally. Okay, I'm going to go through quickly and do the rest. Alright, that is all the watercoloring. Very quick. Now I'm just going to assemble the card. Alright, that's the finished card. I hope you'll like it. I hope you'll try this galaxy technique yourself, and I really hope Kyler likes the card. It's really cute, I think, and it went together really easy. Let me show you again the other background I made. I'm going to make another card of this, and this card will be a giveaway on my channel. Please leave a comment down below if you want to be the recipient of this the third card, Galaxy. Thanks for watching. I'd like to thank my brother David for the music that he provided for the channel. I really appreciate all of the great help that he's given me, and everyone else in my family that's given me good support and good help as I do these videos. Please subscribe and give this video a like if you like it, and I can't wait for Kyler to get the card to find out what he thought. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Take care.